live.
Thank you, Ed. Good evening. Welcome to the April 7th, 2021 meeting of the Tahoe Truckee School District Board of Trustees. We did meet in closed session this evening and took no reportable action in closed session. I want to thank everybody for accommodating our ever-continuing methods of meeting. We're socially distanced here in the boardroom, although I think we're all adults and all vaccinated, which is a pretty cool thing. And thanks for our leadership for being here virtually, since we can't fit them in the room. So I think we will start, we haven't done this in quite some time, with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Okay. Superintendent Geisels, do we need to approve this evening's agenda? Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, President Zirk, we do. Item 10.1, we're going to break out to 10.1 and 10.2, since they're two separate items that Mr. Rivera will be discussing later on in our board meeting. And then we're going to remove item 11.1, the donation from Truckee Rotary Foundation to Sierra High School. We have a little bit more research to do with the project, and we will be bringing it back at a future board meeting.
Okay. Would someone like to move approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the noted changes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Sorry.
Aye. Yes, so you guys were back to doing it ourselves without Lupita, but prompting us since we're all here together. So we can all we have to say our ayes separately, but we don't have to wait for Lupita. So we appreciate her service over the last year, prompting us to vote. Okay, next is the opportunity for public comment. This is the opportunity for anyone in the public to comment on anything that's not on this evening's agenda. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per comment. And of course, you all know we've been taking public comments in a variety of ways during COVID. We did receive, I believe, 3 emailed public comments which the board receives and reads prior to the meeting. I will say that we will take now 30 minutes of public comment as is posted on our agenda. And if we have more than 30 minutes, we'll do the rest of it at the end of after the business of the board is completed this evening. I do know that we have both, I've gotten some public comment cards with in-person folks, and then I know we have some public comment recorded on the telephone. So I think to honor the folks who showed up, we'll go ahead and take the in-person comments. If that takes less than 30, we'll start on the telephone comments. If it doesn't, we'll go like I outlined. So let's see, the first person I have with the public comment is Miss Jessica Jacobs. And again, so will we be running the timer on the screen for the commenters?
Move that if you want. I'm going to wipe it off every time anyway.
Okay. We're going to just getting their timer set up.
Okay, it's not.
Okay.
Okay.
Go for
There
it.
we go.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Hello, my name's Jessica Jacobs. I teach at Truckee High School. I was hired by the district in 2003. I just want to say that I'm very disappointed to see the direction the district is going in regards to the relationship between teachers and the district office. As a teacher, I have unfortunately had the professional experience of witnessing very contentious relations between teachers in the district, and at the same time, experienced, luckily, the very positive relationship between the two as well. Under the previous leadership, we were able to see how powerful and positive a working relationship could be when both the district and the teachers came together. PR improved, the focus was always on the great things that were happening, all school sites were recognized, teachers' names were known, our children's names, the students' names, we were really supported and valued. And now it seems here we are again, kind of going back to this old way, and it's very concerning. The fact that we're vilified for a raise based on inflation is honestly really offensive, especially when we're experiencing record revenue and property taxes coming in higher than expected. I'm also a parent. I have 2 children at Truckee Elementary. I also want to live and raise my children in this community, as many of you have and are. As a parent, I do not appreciate you including bargaining statements about how teachers are asking for a raise, even though negotiations are not over. While I understand that the district is trying to keep people informed, the connotation of the message was negative in nature. It creates a divisive culture, and I don't really understand the point of that. Are you trying to pit the community against the teaching staff? Because what I see from a parent perspective are really amazing things. The teachers at Truckee L are incredible. The admin is doing an amazing job. My kids love school. Please don't discredit those experiences with those PR blasts. Professionally, as a teacher, I feel very supported by my administration at Truckee High. I'd like to, again, feel that same support at the district level, because many of us know that when we work together, amazing things can happen. We've seen how powerful that can be, and it creates a better environment for everybody. So we're better than this. This whole situation is just really disappointing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. The next public commenter is Brian Fink.
Hey, Brian. Good. You will know exactly where you go. Here. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Hello, my name is Brian Fink. Before I get started, I would like to say why I've never spoken at a meeting before. I've trusted the board to do what's right for the staff and their community, and have always been pleased with the bargaining and have always been pleased and bragged about our district and their commitment to our educators. But for the first time, I felt the need to stand up and speak out. I've worked at North Tahoe High School for the past 6 years. I'm a math teacher, and until last year, I was also a football coach and baseball coach for the last 5 years. And I will be homeless in 19 days. Last year, the board maintained that they could not afford a cost of living increase in the light of the uncertainty of the pandemic, and it put the staff in a very tough spot. At 26 years old, I was able to buy my first house in Tahoe, and I was very excited and loved my house. I lived there for 3 years, and it was awesome. However, with the fires all over California, and including examples like Paradise, our fire insurance skyrocketed. Mine personally went up 6 times the original amount, and it was hard to find someone willing to insure our own homes. Also, we voted to raise property taxes to help support our schools and our community and our teachers. It made it much more challenging for me to afford my mortgage, but I tried to hang in there and hang on to see if the district would offset this with a wage increase. Unfortunately, you decided not to give us an increase last year when it was most needed. Paying for a house as a single income, I watched my savings dwindle. I knew I had to make a tough call to sell my house and rent a place so I could start saving again. 2 weeks into escrow, the pandemic hit and everything shut down. I couldn't find a place to rent and had to live and teach from a motel room in Tahoe City for over a month. I did what I had to do, and I didn't complain. I knew I would figure it out and everything would be okay. I found a condo to rent and everything got back on track. However, here it is, a year later, and my landlord has decided not to renew my lease, much like other landlords all across the area. The prices are now outrageous, and there's very little housing available. Of those that are available, they're way out of my price range as a single income household, and the low income housing, I do not qualify for. I make too much for the apartments that we keep getting in our inboxes, and nowhere near enough for the duplexes we keep seeing as well. It is hard to make enough money that you can actually qualify for a loan on $550,000, while at the same time not making too much that you price yourself out. The only way a single income could afford it on our salary is to put at least $200,000 down, which we can't save because the cost of rent is so high. I've been trying to find another place to rent.
Mr. Fink, you need to wrap up. Your 3 minutes are up.
Okay. So I think that it is important for you guys to really consider what's going on in our community and give us a cost of living adjustment to really help out, because everything has been going outrageously priced recently. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Oh, would it have done that if I didn't say anything?
No, I
Okay.
had to get the sound in. Now
No. Okay, next is Patty McCarthy.
McCaffrey.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have my glasses on top of my head.
Oh,
McCaffrey.
that's okay. Good evening. My name is Patty McCaffrey, and I retired from TTUSD in 2012 after 26 years of teaching at what was then called North Tahoe Middle School, North Tahoe High School, and Truckee High School in various capacities in general and regular ed. I mean, general and special ed. And I'm here tonight because I'm troubled by the current administration's decision to reveal the specificities of contract negotiations with the public prior to the conclusion of these negotiations. Never in 26 years that I worked for this school district did that ever happen, and in couple other school districts either. So I was, I feel it creates a very divisive atmosphere, and that's exactly what I told my neighbors who approached me. I live in the Highlands in Tahoe City, and these neighbors approached me and asked me, knowing that I was a retired teacher. And I said that it is not a good move as far as I was concerned. What happened to collegiality and cooperation and honoring one another? That was very disturbing to me. I've lived here for 35 years, and I'm really concerned about the school district's ability to attract and retain quality educators. Recently, that I personally know, two of my former colleagues have sold homes over at the lake, modest, middle-class homes, for in excess of $1 million. These were not lakefronts, and these were definitely not sold teachers or sheriffs or, nurses or firefighters. And this is concerning to me. This brings me to another topic. The school district has obviously benefited from the significant increases in property tax revenues this past couple of years. All over the years, I diligently worked to, every time the school district floated a bond issue, I was Measure A, Measure AA, Measure S, Measure all of them. I diligently performed. To the detriment in terms of 1 year when we were running a bond issue or floating a bond issue, so was the fire department, so was the hospital district, and we tried to get a rec center over there, but it didn't go because I supported education like a lot of my also community members in Tahoe City. So now I have to go to Truckee or Incline because we don't have a rec center. Well, since you invited the public to weigh in, that's what I'm going to do right now. And these are, I always thought they were confidential negotiations.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to wrap up. Your time's up.
Okay. These teachers and support staff deserve a raise. They deserve a reasonable cost, beyond cost of living. I believe they should get 6%.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry, you need to end.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Gina Stevens.
Gina? No, Gina. Oh, no. We're switching order. We have Teresa.
That's my timer.
Teresa Ippolito.
Shall I start now? I'm Teresa Ippolito. I teach 8th grade at Alder Creek Middle School. I've been there for over 20 years. So I am just here to say that I am, like other teachers before me, I am disappointed that TTA and the school board cannot come to an agreement with salary negotiations. This past year has been stressful for everyone. We're all working harder than ever to do our jobs. Working without a contract just adds to the stress. All we are asking for is a fair raise that allows our salaries to keep up with inflation. The current TTEA offer is equivalent to the school board's initial 2% offer if property taxes come in or TTUSD budgeted, yet you're still not willing to negotiate. There was a time when the school board was supportive of teachers. I've been here a long time. The last meeting, I heard one board member say that when there is money, the board has given pay raises to teachers. That was true in the past. I do recall that happening, not often, but it did happen. There is money now, and you are not budging and negotiations. The district received just under $5 million in COVID monies. Property tax revenues have gone up over 10% in 2 years. The district reserves are at 13.9%, which is well above the state required 3%. If the board truly believes in its teachers, then show us by making a financial investment in your teachers. I've heard reference about our salary schedule and how that should be enough. There are places on the salary schedule that are frozen. For senior members of your staff, doesn't longevity compensation make sense? For years, we've asked someone from this room to please shadow us, experience our day, experience our work ethic, experience the unrealistic expectations that are tasked with our hour-to-hour, day-to-day. No one has ever really visited longer than an hour, though I can say years ago, Kim used to be in my room for hours on a monthly basis. It's been a long time. And we not even have addressed healthcare. The timing of that announcement usually is a gut punch. We end negotiations and then we find out that we'll be paying more in premiums. Then it's the end of the year and we forget all about the increase in insurance costs and start at zero with negotiations again. Last year we had no raise and our insurance costs went up about 3%. I can't imagine rates are not going to increase again this year. Please show teachers that we are honored and respected for what we do. TTUSD has the money. The school board has the power to do the right thing by giving teachers a fair and well-deserved pay raise. Do what's right. Your actions speak louder than words. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is Gina Stevens going to come in next now?
Now we have Heidi Bushway-Verkler.
Okay.
You're right.
Hi, my name's Heidi Bushway-Verkler, and I teach the STEAM class at North Tahoe School. I'm a mom of two, a senior at North Tahoe High School and a freshman. And I'm speaking tonight on behalf of my colleagues and friends throughout the district. On March 17th, all TTUSD employees received an email stating that applications are being accepted for the Hopkins Village project. Just a reminder that this is a new housing opportunity in the Tahoe-Truckee area for local workforce. Local workforce that can afford $550,000 plus an HOA fee of $2,640 a year. I worked in this district since 2000, and my spouse has been a classified employee since 2014. With both of us working for TTUSD, me being near the end of the certificated pay scale, $550,000 is not affordable for us. How is this possibly affordable for many new teachers to our district, whom you heard from in the past, the last few school board meetings, saying that they're without housing? And as Brian just mentioned, he had a house and now he's gone. He can't even have his house. He can't even get into the market again. This is not possible. And we're considered the workforce, and this isn't possible. Many of these teachers are looking for lodging elsewhere, out of our communities, out of where they work, and out of state in Reno and Carson. These are our 30-something professionals looking to take on roommates, perhaps even strangers, to possibly rent a house that they found online for $4,000 a month. A board member mentioned at one of the last board meetings that our population has grown and home sales are through the roof because of how great we are, how great TTUSD is, us. If we're so great, then how come all these people are purchasing homes and our teachers can't live in them anymore? They're either moving in themselves as landlords or they're skyrocketing the rent for these poor people. I know you can't fix the housing crisis, but you can certainly make it easier for our local workforce, our local educators. We're living here, we want to live here. If TTU is so great, then give us a fair pay raise. If TTU is so great, then honor the people who are making it great and giving them the raise, at least that covers the cost of living. If we're so great, then show us how great you are. Show us that you, the TTUS board, are willing to use nearly the $3 million that you added to the reserve to give us an increase. Not just the teachers, but also the classified employees. Our colleagues in South Lake Tahoe just received a 2.5 raise this year. They significantly have less revenue than we are. Please honor us, our district, and truly feel that we are so great. If you truly feel that we're so great and that we have great schools, then show us how great you are and honor us and the TTUSD and give us a fair raise. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. I have Lori Schreiber and Gina Stevens.
We got Gina.
The elusive Gina Stevens.
Hold on just a second.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gina Stevens. I'm a teacher at Alder Creek Middle School. I'm also the TTA Benefits Chair. Listening to you all lately, I'm very confused. Why are you so mad at us? Why the frustration with us? Your tone, your body language, why are we at odds? Why do you sound so bitter? What have we done? Have your classroom observations of us left you feeling that we are unworthy? Are we not performing to your expectations? Are you dismayed by the way we teach, provide instruction, create relationship with students? Have we not pivoted quickly enough each time our schedule has changed this year? Have we not professionally adapted to this new world of teaching? Why do you sound so bitter? Why are we not unified? It would be nice if for once our union reps came to the negotiation table and were told, hey, there's extra money in the coffers this year and we're investing in our staff. We're not only going to offer cost of living, we're going to include a bit of a merit raise as well. I think this may have happened once over the course of my 20-plus years. All of this is disturbing, but what's even more troublesome is this. While I was pulling together what I wanted to say tonight, I felt like deja vu. So I searched up something I wrote, and this was published in the Sierra Sun. I'm going to read it to you now. The date is March 28th, 2008. It's in my turn, and it's what a difference a year makes. The Tahoe Truckee Unified School District and its teachers are at an impasse again in salary negotiations. Yes, once again, teachers are being told, not this year. I wrote a My Turn piece last year, December 25th, 2006. It started with Marion Bright, I'm not feeling it. Any person involved in education isn't feeling it. Our community especially needs to be aware of the dismal atmosphere your educators are in now. I could write the same article today. When will our elected school board trustees start supporting their teachers? What a difference a year makes? How about what a difference 30 years makes? The year's 1978. Teachers bring their sleeping bags to a school board meeting because they vowed not to leave until an agreement could be reached. I guess I need to get my sleeping bag out because it might as well be 1978 all over again, 30 years. What a difference 10 years makes. From 1998, a Sierra Sun article, a financial plan is dependent on district employees and teachers giving up a portion of a promised raise in 99-2000. What a difference 3 years makes. From a 2005 Sierra Sun article, school administrators say money will be too tight in 05-06 to give teachers what they've requested. Well, you can guess what's next. November 1st, 2007, Sierra Sun headline, Teachers Union begin annual negotiations. How sad that I have a longer contract with my cell phone company than I do with my employer. Here's the final insult. March 11, 2008, district officials suffered a surprise hit to their budget last week when they received a letter notifying them of their obligation to pay $1.2 million for 2 charter schools in the district. One guess where that leaves teachers' hopes for a raise. The press has tried...
Gina, you need to finish.
Are you going to give me permission to finish?
You need to wrap up now. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to, this one sentence in here that says, teachers are not discouraged in educating your children. The students, in fact, are truly the only reason we tolerate all of this nonsense. The classroom truly is our haven. And there's more, and I just would like to say it's sad that what was written in 2008 is still true in 2021. And please help change the mood, the direction, and furthermore, our future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Lori Schreibner?
Yep. Come on in, Laura. Hold on just a second. I didn't have time to-
Hi, I'm Lori Scheibner. I teach at Glenshire Elementary and Tahoe Lake, so I have more than 700 students, and it's been wild trying to upload 11 different lesson plans into 37 online classrooms every week. So having kids in person, I'm one of the most happy to see them back. I want to continue Gina's letter because I share a lot of the same history, having moved here in 2000. To continue her article, the press has tried to explain to the community that we are a basic aid, locally funded school district. In fact, we have been since 2003. It's a bit confusing because we've all grown up knowing that schools are funded by the state. This is not entirely the case with TTUSD. Our funding changed when our property values went nuts, which they're doing again. Arnold Arnold Schwarzenegger, can do what he wants, our property taxes help drive our district budget. Where's all the revenue going? Not to us. In fact, if you compare the salaries of teachers who live in comparable basic aid districts, we are at the bottom of the salary pile. But this is the very reason we are basic, and high property taxes is the very reason the school board should pay teachers a fair, competitive, professional living wage. And this is still her article from 2008. The school district has the money. In fact, our former superintendent said so in the newspaper on October 5, 2006. Things have changed, William said. The budget is more robust than it has been in years, thanks in part to basic aid funding from property taxes, and options for spending and investing are on the rise. Rather than stressing about where to find the money, board members will now be determining how to spend it. Marian Bright, after looking up the past Sierra Sun articles, I am again discouraged, deflated, disappointed with the way our district has treated its teachers. Teachers are not discouraged in educating children. They still aren't. We aren't right now. We're glad to see them. The students, in fact, are truly the only reason we tolerate all of this nonsense. The classroom is our haven. We often hear the squeaky wheel. After 30 years, the wheel is really ready to fall off. Your teachers are tired of fighting this battle, and here we are fighting again. We are pleading with our community to become those squeaky wheels. Talk to your children's teacher, ask them questions. Please do something, and we need to put on our rally caps. The community is unbelievable in their ability to affect change. This is the end of it. After 30 years, give teachers something to look forward to. Stop the nickel and dime negotiating. I'd love to get back to teaching, not writing guest columns in the Sierra Sun. And that's the end of Gina's article.
Good timing. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you for the time.
Joan, do we have any other in-person commenters?
I'm going to go check.
Okay, thank you. In the meantime, should we play a phone commenter? So we use our time and hear as many folks as we can right now.
Sure, the first phone commenter is Jillian Tomasini.
Thank you. No more. Okay, thank you. So we'll play the
Whoop.
610.
Okay.
So we probably get 3 or 4 in.
I am calling to support the teachers' raises at TTUSD for this year through negotiation. Thank you very much.
The next commenter is Shauna West.
I'm in support of the 2% raise for the teachers of the Tahoe Truckee School District.
The next commenter is Crystal Botel.
Hi, my name is Crystal Boutel, and I have 2 daughters that go to Glenshire Elementary, and I am calling to say that I am all for giving teachers a 3% raise. In this town, there is over a 3% cost of living increase that happens every single year. And these teachers definitely deserve, especially in this year, how incredibly hard that they have worked through this pandemic with distance learning and hybrid and everything. They deserve much more than 3%. In my mind, they deserve 8-10% raises for the incredible jobs that they've been doing and the incredible dedication that they've put forth during this time frame. I feel that if you don't give them a 3% cost of living increase, it's basically equating to giving them a pay cut, since the cost of living is going to continue to go up more than 3% every year going forward. So in my mind, yes, let's give them a 3% pay increase for sure. And I know the school district has the money to do that. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
The next comment is from Sherry McConkey.
Sherry McConkey calling. I do think that all the teachers should absolutely get a 3% raise. They've been working so hard, and the cost in Tahoe is ridiculously high with everything, including rent. Thank you. Bye.
The next comment's from Janelle Potvin. Apologize for the pronunciation.
Hi,
my name is Janelle Potvin, and I'm calling regarding the teachers union request for a raise based on the record revenue from property taxes that the district has received. As a parent of a child at North Tahoe High School and Truckee High School, in both of my kids' classes, their teachers have gone above and beyond in this past year to accommodate the online learning and the hybrid, and in particular, the special education department has been amazing at North Tahoe High School in making sure that their students are still able to succeed in this crazy environment with the online learning. And considering, I think they already deserved a raise, but especially since there's record tax revenue coming in, I think it's a great way to spend the money. If you have any questions, please give me a call, 530-448-0144.
The next comment is from Harj Bossi.
Hi, this is Harj Bossi, and this is my 22nd year of teaching middle school, and by far the most difficult year of my career. I have loved teaching each and every year until now. Sadly, I'm not sure I will make it much longer. Why? I simply do not feel my district values supporting their teachers fiscally enough to keep them around. I was hired in the Silicon Valley in 1999 at the height of the dot-com industry. Along with the nearly 200 other new teachers, I was faced with trying to find housing in what was a booming economy for everyone but teachers. Santa Clara Unified had just hired the most teachers ever in 1 year due to an alarming number of teacher turnover and increase in student population. Teachers were leaving because they could not afford housing because new residents were driving up prices. Sound familiar? I feel like we're about to repeat the history that I have already lived through. Lucky for me, Santa Clara Unified did everything in their power to retain the amazing teachers they had just hired by using district land to build subsidized housing specifically for teachers, and gave us consistent cost of living adjustments as the local economy, property taxes, and housing costs skyrocketed. By working closely with and respecting the requests of the union, these goals were achieved. I am a shining example of how a teacher can thrive when supported by the union and district. I was one of the first teachers to live in Casa del Maestro, which allowed me to purchase a small condo in Santa Clara all by myself and helped me keep the job I loved for 15 years. When it was time for a change in quality of life and a move to Truckee to teach, upon hiring, my years of service and salary were immediately slashed in half because TTUSD only accepts a small number of years of service outside the district in an effort to keep costs low. This brought me back to 1999, unable to afford housing again. I ended up selling what was supposed to be an investment property so that I could afford housing here in Truckee. I find myself stuck, repeating history amidst the pandemic during the most difficult year of teaching in my career. If I decided to return to Santa Clara Unified, I would make over $30,000 more per year for the same job I left in 2015. What will you, the TTUSD board, do to show that you value your teachers and their experience enough to retain them? After putting us through 5 first days of school and nonstop pivoting, I know one thing you could do, and that is to accept TTEA's very fair offer and allow our salaries to keep up with the base. Hi, this is Harj Bossi, and this is my 22nd year of teaching middle school. And nonstop pivoting, I know one thing you could do, and that is to accept TTEA's very fair offer and allow our salaries to keep up with the base.
Okay, she cut off. All right. That's 30 minutes of public comment, Kim. 1, 2, 3. There's 9.
All right, well, I appreciate everyone's participation and public comment. The board does have an opportunity, if you'd like to respond briefly in any way. I will say that I know it's a difficult situation with the housing. Mr. Fink's story is heartbreaking to me, and I work with this every single day, this housing situation, working with the town. And somehow as a community, hopefully we can come together to address that. Certainly the district has taken super proactive steps in forming a joint powers authority to address housing, but it's a long-term situation. So that is very difficult and not one that's going to be solved through any labor negotiations. And then secondly, I'm just going to personally say that I've been on this board for 12 years, and I think we've worked really hard to have amazing relationships. And as hurt as I've heard some teachers say they are, I am just as hurt. I received a letter from a teacher basically telling me that everything I had done over the last 12 years didn't matter unless I paid them, or I gave the raise that the teachers union was asking, and that hurts my heart because we're all up here because we care. And we have all been through COVID. It's been hell on all of us. I've worked in my office every day since COVID started. I've never had a more stressful year in my life, and I know we've all done that. And I've talked a lot from the dais about being kind and displaying kindness. And I really am sad and feel that we're now doing that to each other. And that really breaks my heart. This board member's philosophy has not changed in the 12 years that I have been on this dais. I will give our amazing employees every dollar of increase that I responsibly can. And we have done that consistently every year. But we are called trustees because we're entrusted by the taxpayers to take care of our kids and to teach our kids and to provide social and emotional supports for our kids. And the only way to do that is to have a school district that will last beyond this year and next year and until the kindergartners graduate and well beyond that. And so that's what we're left balancing. The desire to recognize our amazing employees to the maximum extent we can, and yet making sure we have the ability to continue to fiscally operate this school district. My philosophy hasn't changed, and I doubt it will change however many times we go through this. So I just hope that we can remember kindness to each other, because if we can't be kind to each other, that just makes me incredibly sad. So sorry, I needed that little diatribe there. So we'll listen to the rest of the comments at the end of the meeting, and I very much appreciate everyone's thoughtfulness.
Kim, can I ask a question? Will we be able to make comments after this?
If you'd like to, Dee Dee, of course.
Okay, thank you.
So next we are going to, turn the page. And we have an update from our Superintendent Chief Learning Officer.
Thank you, President Zurich. So it's a very simple update tonight. I wanted to say thank you to everyone for their work in 5-day, partial day instruction. It's been absolutely awesome to see the sites and see the staff and the teachers. And I just have to really just talk about everyone in their particular roles, how they were involved. George, Pat, Mace, our custodians for helping set up all those classroom shields, our bus drivers, our food service personnel, our nurses, our tech services personnel, our secretaries, our clerks, our instructional aides, campus monitors, community liaisons, all of our office staffs at each of our school sites, our teachers, our counselors, our principals, and also most especially our parents, if you're out there. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Thank you for pivoting when we pivoted. Thank you for all that you've done for your kids to be supportive. We really appreciate your work, and it's so nice to see some smiles on some of my assistant principals and principals out there. And I also want to acknowledge that this week is Assistant Principal Week. So to Miss Cuddle, Miss D, Miss Pillsbury, and Miss, I'm drawing a blank, Miss DeWald, thank you guys so much, and Mr. Alejo, and of course, Mr. Newberger, who's in the corner back there. Thanks to Miss Melanie, putting him back there. Thank you so much, and happy Assistant Principals Week. And I also wanted to say to our parents out there that we will continue in the current schedule, 5-day partial day for the next 10 weeks until the end of the school year. We're so excited to be rocking and rolling, and in August 31st, we expect to be back full day, in person, all day as we were pre-COVID. So that's our goal, and wanted to let you know. And we're so excited that we're also planning graduations and promotions and spring sports. We're actually just enjoying the fact that some things can come back to normal a bit. And with any contingency as things happen, especially in what we've been discussing in comments, Todd Rivera provided a March 2nd interim update. And as with everything that happens in our budget in our world, Todd has a little bit of an update to provide to the board regarding some contingencies that have developed that we need you to be aware of. So thank you again for all of your work. And Mr. Rivera, if you want to just take it away.
Yeah, thank you. So we actually did receive some unfortunate news. At second interim, I did talk a little bit about our multi-year outlook and just all of the uncertainties and unknowns that we can really expect to experience as, some of the impacts of the pandemic start to unfold. And the Employment Development Department just sent us an official letter that our unemployment insurance rate is going to go up quite substantially. For many, many years, it's been the minimal rate allowed by the state of 0.05%, which in our budget really amounts to a very minuscule amount. It's about $20,000. They have increased it to 1.23%, which that is 1.23% applied to the entire payroll of the district. So in dollar amounts, that increases our unemployment obligation to about $511,000. So a pretty significant increase that's going to impact us next year. This is something that we're not sure if it's going to be a multi-year basis. Right now, they're just saying for 21-22. However, again, there's some unknowns there on how long this will last. The last time they increased the rate so substantially was during the recession. And actually, I think it was higher at that point. So for many years, this was a major impact to our budget, and then it went back down to the minimum rate, which was a huge relief on the district.
Todd, can I ask some questions about that?
Sure.
So this is unemployment insurance, and I am assuming we're pooled with other school districts? Is that how that works?
No, every school district has their own account with employment development, but as far as this increase, it's being applied to all school districts across the board. And it's because of the magnitude of unemployment that's been distributed throughout the pandemic. So they're trying to reinforce or replace revenues that were lost during the pandemic. And that's why there's some uncertainty on how long this will last. I'm hoping it's just 1 year.
So this is related to school districts who have laid folks off who are unemployed. Is that how that works?
Not exactly. The school districts have kind of pleaded their case that they did not have a lot of layoffs of people that were participating in unemployment. However, the state is using a formula, and it's probably distributed amongst all different employers. But for the school district K-12 rate, they are implementing a 1.23% increase.
I was wondering, because we didn't lay anybody off during the pandemic. I know lots of other people lost their employment, but I didn't understand if it's school-specific. So
the letter that we received, it was specific to school districts. However, I'm not sure if other industries and employers have received similar letters with, it could be a different rate for them.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions for Todd or Superintendent Geisels?
I have to apologize profusely. She's looking right at me on the top screen. Miss Cuddle, also an amazing assistant principal. I did not mention her name, and I apologize. So I hope she's enjoying Assistant Principals Week as much as the rest of our wonderful, strong, amazing assistant principals.
Thank you. Next, I'm so excited to see another school showcase, and this evening is from Truckee High School.
Yes, I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Logan Melanie and Mr. John Newberger, who will do a showcase of all things happening at Truckee High School.
Before we start, I also wanted to say thank you so much for doing this. We have been starved for your presence.
Well, thank you for having us. I have realized I cannot see that screen when presenting, so thank you for allowing me to have the screen here. And I think that only got worse with, looking at a screen often. Thank you all for having us tonight. We truly just want to celebrate Truckee High School tonight. For those of you that don't know, I'm Logan Melanie, Truckee High School's principal.
John Newberger, Truckee High School assistant principal.
He deserves another shout out for Assistant Principal Week. Thanks. You're welcome. We could talk about how much we're so excited to have kids in person 5 days a week, but we decided we'd rather you hear it from them. So we're going to take a moment and just watch a few of our students express their excitement for 5 days in person.
My name is Hector Rodriguez. I'm a junior here at Truckee High School, and one of the things that I'm most excited about coming 5 days a week is being back in school with my friends and being able to interact in my classes online. I wouldn't really do anything, but now that I'm in school 5 days a week, I'll be able to interact with my teachers and the students and do my work.
Hi, my name is Alondra. I'm in 11th grade, and what I'm most excited about coming back is being able to see all my friends and have a better learning environment.
Hi, my name is Hannah Mazer, and I'm a senior at Truckee High, and currently I'm sitting in the East Wing, and I'm most excited about seeing my teachers in person.
Hi, my name is Emma Bragg. I'm a sophomore at Truckee High School, and I'm also super excited to be back in school and see my teachers in person.
That's how we feel every day. We just applaud when they show up. We also want to just thank the community and you, the board. We are completed construction at Truckee High School. Our wonderful project manager, Rob Coster, told me that as of January, we were in construction for, well, with ed specs and everything, for 6 years. So again, instead of us talking about the construction complete, we did want to share what the new areas look like. So in all of the videos, what we tried to do is have those new areas behind the people speaking. So first, we're going to see the commons areas where students are so excited to have that space, our new library, and our band room.
Hello, I'm Matt Estabrook. I'm a campus monitor at Truckee High School. I'm super excited to have all the kids back, one step closer to get back to normalcy.
Hi, I'm Coach Vaughn. I'm also a floor monitor at Truckee. And like Matthew, I can't wait to see all the kids. It's been way too long. Listen.
Hi, this is J.R. Murphy. I'm the third campus monitor here at Truckee High School. We are standing in the Central Commons. I'm most excited for the kids to come back and see this beautiful new high school.
Hi, my name is Sarah Gooding, and I'm the teacher librarian at Truckee High School. This is my 9th year at Truckee High School. However, it's my first year in this beautiful new space. I'm so happy to be welcoming back students 5 days a week. We're open 7:30 to 2:30, so I hope they come by and say hello.
Hi, I'm Jesse Steele, the music teacher at Truckee High School. We are so happy to be back at school 5 days a week for many reasons, most of which is to use this beautiful new band room, complete with practice rooms, more storage than you can shake a stick at, and best of all, a floor space that will fit all of our students. We have lockers for all instruments that are locking, and this is just a magnificent new facility. We are so excited to be back playing music in person, and things could not be better right now.
So next up we have sports. In case you didn't hear, sports are happening now. So sports have sprung. Up there is a list of all the sports that are happening pretty much at once. And so it's really exciting to see the kids out, and we have been getting out there to all of these fantastic events. So one of the things we've been focusing on this year is social well-being. And so some of the things that we've been doing involve the Hope Squad, which is a suicide prevention program that we've launched, and students are involved in that. Link Crew, which is freshman orientation, essentially connecting freshmen with upperclassmen and then periodically meeting. And we've been doing those meetings regularly, both digital, and now that we're back in person as well, that's happening too. And then circle questions. We've been doing these for a while now, and teachers and students answer questions to get to know each other in classes. So along those lines, what we did was we asked our new teachers on campus to answer a circle question for us. What has worked for them this school year, and what opportunities do they have now that we're back in 5-day? Below this is there are circle norms or agreements, so you can take a look at that. But that's what we follow in like a normal classroom setting.
Hi, I'm Alex Close. I teach English at Truckee High School. One thing that has worked well for me this year is my students. They've worked incredibly hard. Despite everything that they've had to deal with, they've continued to work hard and be positive. And one opportunity that I have with 5 days of instruction is getting to know them better and building a stronger community in my class.
Hola, bienvenidos a mi clase. Yo soy la señora Torres. Bonjour, bienvenue à mi clase de français. Je suis la professora Torres. Hi, welcome. I'm Kristen Torres, the new French and Spanish teacher here at Truckee High. One thing I am so looking forward to having the kids back 5 days a week is being able to sing our songs together en français and espagnol, to practice our grammar and our vocab. I'm also really excited to do skits and have the students work together and speak with each other rather than just hearing me speak the whole time. So thank you so much for everything. Au revoir, adios.
Hi TTUSD board, I'm Yvette Herrera and I'm a part of the science department. I am so excited to go back to 5 days next week and have more student collaboration and hands-on activities.
Hello everyone, my name's Dana Frank and I teach culinary arts. One thing that's worked well for me this year is to stay positive and to have a sense of humor. I look forward to having the students here 5 days a week to enjoy this amazing commercial kitchen. Here is a little tour. Come by anytime and check it out in person. It is truly incredible.
Hello, my name is Callie Martin. I'm the new art teacher at Truckee High School, and I just wanted to show you guys around the space today. We had our first in-person 5-day-a-week instruction today with both A and B cohorts, and it was so exciting because we got to have our first group in-person critique where students placed post-its next to their peer scratchboard projects, and we got to reflect on what works, maybe what could be improved, and then we're just getting back into more tactile art making again. So today, our first day back, we were working with block prints, and students were making little practice prints today for a larger project that we're starting this week, focusing on printmaking techniques. So we're very happy to be back in the space and getting our hands dirty.
So we want to share with you how we have responded to the closure in March 2020 and how we've used data to move forward. Our strategic support started again after term 3 into term 4 from the spring. As you know, the governor set a do no harm rule around grades in high school. That means that no student that wasn't failing term 3 could not fail term 4. From that data, we've realized that 48 of our students did end term 4 with an F on their transcript. That meant that the system or school, regardless of when it was failing them before we closed. We wanted to take that data and disaggregate it to find names of those students and what subgroups they were part of to know how to strategically meet the needs of those students. If we meet the needs of those students, we know we're going to meet the needs of those other groups of students within that focus student. So we did just that. We focused on the student subgroups most in need. They included our students with social emotional learning needs. So again, we set best strategies for those specific subgroups in mind. That was our plan. Then we did it. We taught using those specific strategies, and we decided what works for those subgroups and what didn't work. We made this plan, or as you know from me, the Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle of inquiry, because our intention at Truckee High School is to get all students to graduate, right? All students should have the most amount of opportunities available to them by the time they graduate, and all students should have a post-secondary plan that they're excited about. We're all inclusive, not just for the college goers, and we want to extend our opportunities as well as intervene and remediate. So again, we asked ourselves, what strategies work and what iteration did we want to put forward, continuing to look at this data. So since March 2020 and every quarter since, we have updated that watch list. Just last term's watch list, the subgroups that we continue to focus on, we had 66% of the students identify as socioeconomic disadvantaged. 62% of that list were students with social emotional learning needs, and that was based on our Caring Connection data or some other type of social emotional learning data that we have. And 45% of that list were our redesignated students. So we know that that is still the subgroups that we want to focus on as we put strategies into place in the classroom. Teachers did this work. They identified the students on the watch list on their own rosters. So every teacher took all 3 rosters and highlighted those students from the F list on the watch list. They track those identified students in their classroom and choose strategies to meet the needs of those students. And just because there are focus students doesn't mean we don't focus on all students. We just know that those strategies will work for all the students within that category, within that subgroup. So again, we offered strategies in staff collaboration, some of them are linked, around social emotional learning needs, around strategies that work for our redesignated students, and we created a website that teachers can access to find those strategies. So there's a little sneak peek of it. So where are we now with this work? We're in our 3rd iteration of the Truckee High watch list. And teachers are currently selecting focus students and implementing those specific strategies. We're ending term 3 on Friday, and then a new list will be created. Where do we want to be? We always want to be at 100% graduation rate. We want increased opportunities post Truckee High School, and we want our Truckee High students reading at grade level. We want our students to meet their future story. So without further ado, we would like to celebrate our class of 2021.
My name is Jack Brown, and I'll be attending Holy Names University next year. I'll be playing golf for them, and I'm an undecided major.
Hello, my name is Zach Blum. I will be attending Central Oregon Community College for a degree in aviation, and more specifically pursuing a career in helicopters.
Hi, I'm Riley Madigan.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Smith.
I will be attending the University of California, Berkeley.
I'm going to be attending the University of Idaho.
I went in undeclared, but I'm hoping to study film.
I'm also going in as undeclared but interested in a science major.
Hi, I'm Fabian, and I'm planning on going to San Francisco State University to major in civil engineer.
Hi, my name is Aurora, and I'm planning to join the Marines.
Jairo Cadena, I'm going to SDSU. Alan Cardenas, I'm going to USC.
My name's Yair Ruiz, and I'm going to be attending Stanford.
Obviously, that's not the entire class of 2021, but you get to celebrate them in person at graduation. So thank you guys so much, and that's it.
Can you see the giant smiles on our faces? You couldn't, but you can now. Thank you so much. Comments or questions for John or Logan?
Well, I'm blown away, so I really don't have any questions because I know that you've already thought of all the answers to every question. It's just like, there's no way I can possibly describe how amazing it feels to see you guys back into 5 days a week. Obviously, as a parent, too, I'm experiencing feedback on a constant basis of how amazing it is to be back in school. So, you guys just blow my mind. You're just so resilient. You didn't miss a beat. Just went straight into distance learning, March 17th, March 18th, whatever it was, 2020. And I think for the most part, I really like the idea that you've got your watch list, because that was one of, I think, everyone's biggest concerns, is what was going to happen to those kids who didn't really have connectivity or support. So thank you for creating a net for them and not letting them go and making sure that they didn't get lost. It's fantastic work. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do this because, again, as I said, we totally miss you. But with all that stuff that's going on, I think it's awesome that you guys get to take a little break and then celebrate what you guys have, because it's a pretty solid start. But sometimes we get caught up in the fact that there's so much going on that we don't actually get a chance to celebrate what we have done. And as we've heard from so many comments, the reason we're here is our kids. And when you get to see them and what they've done and where they want to be, like, is that the craziest thing? How has that changed? I really can't wait to go to school. Like, that's so not what we had. So by creating what you did, but also thank you for taking the time to give us this. Like, this is important to us for sure. And I know you got a lot going on, but it really, really makes us feel part of it. And again, we couldn't go in the classrooms either, like we do the flyby. So having this as a start is awesome. And I know we're so looking forward to getting back in there to hang out. So that's really, thank you for your time.
I love to see the students. Thank you. Yeah, and where they're going to college, successes. But I have a couple9 How many numbers of students are on your watch list?
For term 3, 157.
That's 9 through 12 grade?
Yep.
Understood. And the percentages you showed, were those percentages of that demographic group?
Correct. So they could be interlapping,
Yeah.
right? And in the same demographic group, but yes, that's correct. Of the 157.
And the testing that they had to determine that was what?
It depends on the subgroup. So redesignated means they were an EL student and they are no longer, and they were designated. Our SEL is dependent on, like I said, the caring connection data or what's up wellness check and any of the metrics that we take for social emotional well-being. And then SED is decided on both free and reduced and parent education.
So the SEL test, do you think that was affected by the COVID pandemic?
Well, our caring connection numbers didn't change. We were at 78% in 2020, which is great when we're not with them. And so we are not seeing a decrease in that. But what we're doing is like hyper-focusing on the 20% that is consistently saying no to a caring connection, and then giving them resources that might not be an adult on campus, but something else. But we were actually very impressed with our data during the school closure.
Thank you.
So I just can't help myself. But all the Truckee High graduates whose parents allowed it are now hung up in town on banners all around town. This happens to be my daughter who's graduating this year. I actually was parked the wrong way, blocking the intersection, taking this photo, talking to Carmen on the speakerphone. But it's so cool. What a great thing for the kids to feel proud. So thank you. And thanks for all the organizers for doing that.
Didn't we do that for both sides? Is that happening in Tahoe City too?
It is.
Yeah, I think I think all the creativity is awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time.
Ed, nice work on all that. You got it over the screen.
Okay, on to business, some business. This is item 10, and as Superintendent Geisels mentioned, we broke this out into 2 items. So we're going to take 10 point, can we talk about them at the same time? Okay.
Right, so item 10.1 is to approve the resolution 13-2020-21, approving and authorizing a contract with Bus West for purchase of 1 school bus pursuant to Public Contract Code Section 20118. Mr. Rivera, want to talk about that, and 10.1.1 as well.
Thank you, and I'll start with 10.2. 10.2 is to approve the grant from Placer County Air Pollution Control District, and as you know, we've been extremely successful in going after grants to purchase new buses, and that's due to the hard work of Tony Levezzo and Nanette Rondow from our transportation department. And really have been successful in receiving these grants and making forward progress to replacing our very aged but well-maintained fleet of buses. So we were awarded another bus. This is for a Thomas-built safety liner bus, which is our 37 to 41 passenger, the smaller buses we have. And it will fully fund a purchase of those buses. The 10.1 is essentially a resolution allowing us to participate in a what's called a piggyback agreement with Hemet Unified. They went out to bid and got competitive pricing through the bus vendor to purchase, and we get to piggyback off of that pricing schedule. So the resolution allows us not only to enter into the agreement, but also approves us to participate in the Hemet Unified bid.
Thank you, Todd. I didn't see any homework on this one. Do we have board questions on this? Do we have public comment on this?
There's no public comment on this item.
Thank you. Would someone like to make a motion on the resolution?
So before I do that, I just want to make a comment that I'm so impressed that we have continued this process of getting grants, and I think that's creative that you were able to piggyback on to get it. So that's, again, as COVID has created creativity, I will make a motion to approve 10.1, Resolution 13.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Next, this is related to the grant and approving the grant.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant 10.2.
I'll second.
Any public comment on this item?
No public comment on this item.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 That's easier. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, then we're moving on to 2 additional grants, and I see we have Laura Brown here.
Yes, we do. I'm really pleased to discuss that the Tahoe Truckee Excellence in Education Foundation has provided a very generous donation in the amount of $43,897.45 as the second half of the contribution to aid in the purchase of 300 new Chromebooks for all schools in our district. And through the seed grant from Tahoe Mountain Resorts and various donors, a total amount of $80,000 was raised for the purchase of 300 new Chromebooks for TTUSD. So I'd like to staff request that we approve this grant and also acknowledge Laura Brown, who is our Executive Director of Excellence Education, who's with us tonight. Laura, anything you want to say?
Thank you. Yes. Oh, am I echoing?
You're good. You're good.
Okay. I just want to say thank you. And I feel like this is old news in the sense that the final round of Chromebooks, I think, was delivered in December. But I had been in communication with Mr. Ed Hilton and through, I think, collecting a few pledge checks and the process of check requests. It is just making it tonight onto the board agenda. I'd like to say thank you and also recognize that the $43,000 is actually representative of many organizations and individuals in our community. As you mentioned, Tahoe Mountain Resorts Foundation did issue us the seed grant and really placed it as a challenge to us to go out and raise the additional funds within the community. And I'm proud to say we were able to do that, and would like to give a quick public acknowledgement. Rayleigh's One, Tahoe Truckee Airport, Truckee Sunrise Rotary, Truckee Noon Rotary, Tahoe City Rotary, Tahoe Getaways, Seroptimus International of Tahoe Truckee, Lopez Excavating, Ryan Group Architects, Pacific Crest Wealth Planning, Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation, Tahoe Sierra Board of Realtors, the Excellence in Education Foundation Board, and as I mentioned, many individuals as well. And I think in such a challenging time, and this year we all know it's incredibly challenging, it's important to celebrate the wins. And I look at this campaign as one of them, and just the fact that our district already positioned and then able to supplement our students with the Chromebooks necessary to be able to pivot and transition more seamlessly than I will say many other districts, in our country, really. So again, thank you to the community, and I'm excited that we were able to help make this happen.
Thank you so much, Laura. And I'm just reflecting back to the very first $50,000 that Excellence in Education provided to start this program.
Absolutely. I would, Laura, thank you so much, and your board and Excellence in Education for being such a rally point for our community over the years, not only during the pandemic, but over the years for our school district, and especially with technology and future thinking. From the funding of our Classroom Design of the Future to our initial seed money for our one-to-one program. That was 4th grade through 12th grade, but with this donation tonight, we're able to expand down to TK and Kinder. So thank you for that, Laura, and thank you to Excellence in Education.
Thank you.
And we're not done with Excellence in Education, so don't go anywhere. But first we'll vote on 12.2 because we skipped 12.1, so that was 12.2. So do we have any public comments?
No public comment on this item.
Any board questions? Board comments? Would someone like to make a motion to accept the grant for the Chromebooks?
I will make a huge thank you again to Excellence in Ed and our community, and make a motion to approve the grant 12.2.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, and now we have our grant for our early learner program.
Yes, Laura, don't go away. Also, we would like to honor and thank Excellence in Education for the grant to early learning programs, and with the details with that, Mr. Santos will be talking.
Hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, yes. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for staying on. This is actually an illustration of the district's commitment to our earliest and youngest scholars. As I've said before, you heard Truckee High School speak on our high school graduates. The complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have our infant and toddler and preschool program. Melissa Cruz, who's here, is one of our representatives for the STEP program, which is a program for our infant and toddlers and young parents or parents that need support. This grant actually, though, goes towards a program that they started due to COVID in the sense of more hands-on learning for families, really to promote development, sensory needs, literacy, you name it. The good thing, too, is the kids come in both Spanish and English, so trying to target both populations of families, and they can check those out at any of the locations, State Preschool or the STEP and Next Step program. So thank you, Laura, and Excellent in Education for this donation to help continue this program moving forward.
And may I add on that one?
Please.
So while I do want to just point out, while this check came through, or contribution came through Excellence in Education, it is actually on behalf of Tahoe Truckee Reads and donations that we have received to support those efforts. Excellence in Education serves as the lead organization for Tahoe Truckee Reads, but is the collective community campaign supporting grade level readings, focusing specifically on school readiness, summer learning, and attendance. And so this was to support those efforts and the activity in particular.
Thank you, Laura. Questions on this grant? Public comments?
No public comment on this item.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve grant 12.1.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you again, Laura. So
Thank you, Laura.
appreciated. Okay. Next, we have two negotiation-related items, and this has to do with negotiations beginning with our classified employees.
Yes, yes. So we have item 13.1 and 13.2, the public notice of the Truckee Unified School District's initial proposal to the CSEA Association Chapter 383 regarding the classified units collective bargaining agreement for 2021 negotiations year. Ms. Sabatini, would you like to add the details?
Sure. So this is step one of two steps for us to move forward with negotiating with our classified union. This is our time where we've exchanged our sunshine proposals with each other for the board to see. And so tonight is just simply about looking at those, and then on April 21st, we'll bring it back for the public hearing that's required as part of law, and then we can move forward with negotiations.
Great. So this first one is the district's sunshining to the CSEA. So any questions by the board on that? Any public comment?
Not on this item.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve 13.1.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. And then the next one is us approving CSCA's opening to us, which every year I have to remark is ironic because why would we say no to them? But it's kind of a weird process, but that's how it works in school districts. So any questions from the board on that? Public comment?
No public comment on this item.
Someone like to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve 13.2.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, and then we'll look forward to the public hearing at the next meeting. Next, we have our consent agenda. Superintendent Geisels, does staff need to pull any items from the consent agenda?
No, President Zurich, we do not.
Would any board member like to pull any items? All right, would someone like to to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, next we get to hear from our associations, and first up is just the folks we were talking about, our California School Employees Association. Hi, Melissa.
Hi. This is the
Oh, we're very nice, and there's smiles behind these masks.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Cruz. If you don't know me, I'm the president for our local CSEA chapter. I'm happy to say that this last week was wonderful, super wonderful. Being in our classrooms, our buses, our offices, our kitchens, cafeterias, wherever else they classified was, it just kind of reminded us why we're doing what we're doing, and just gave us a little bit of normal. It was very nice. Also, many classified staff connected with students who have been able to play sports, and that has been a huge, almost freeing for these students to get back to something that was taken away from them. So it's a breath of fresh air. Yes, can you hear me? Okay, so we as classified created a survey and sent out to all the classified employees to get input on how people were feeling about going back to 5 days. And we also included some questions in regards to how last year went with distance learning and hybrid. The concerns that were voiced were super, super helpful. That input we took to the district and shared with Joan and Carmen. On the other hand, the amount of willingness and positivity was overwhelming that I got from the classified. We have a unit of classified employees that are so good at their jobs and make this district shine and continue to work smoothly. I'm really honored to work for this district and with the amazing people that are employed by it, and I'm sure that you guys could all totally agree with that. With that said, as many of you saw, there were some CSEA out in the parking lot tonight to show solidarity with their fellow coworkers and the teachers to celebrate what an amazing job everyone's doing, and to celebrate the challenge that we made. We made it through it, and so far. As a leader in our classified unit, my hope is always to be someone who can unite and not divide. I didn't come into this to have my own agenda or to only stand for one thing. I think that it's super important that everybody knows that. As we go into negotiations, my goal is that classified and the district can agree to support their essential workers, which are classified, by providing fair raises that allow their employees to live in their own town and community that they're helping build by working with the students and the families. We don't want to lose any of these amazing staff, and like I have said before, I truly look forward to coming to the table and agreeing on the value that we bring to the district. So let's get started. We don't need to wait anymore. Thank you for your guys' time and for listening.
Thank you, Melissa. And we certainly recognize the amazing work that the classified staff did during COVID and just doing whatever they were asked to do. So appreciated. Okay, next we have TTEA.
Hello, just checking out volume things. Hello, my name is Kate Teller, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the Tahoe Truckee Education Association, the local association of almost 300 teachers who work in the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District. I am the treasurer and also a member of the executive board. Our members often enjoy the opportunity to stand with you, the school board, and the administration in celebration and in appreciation of the great work that happens in our district. Unfortunately, I have the dubious honor of standing before you tonight because our members currently have a disagreement with you over the level of our compensation. We would prefer to settle this at the negotiating table and don't think public salary disagreements are ideal for anyone involved, either teachers, the board, or the community overall. Nevertheless, we feel the time has come to speak on behalf of our members and the important work they do. We are grateful for the opportunity to do this through our civic structures, coming before our democratically elected school administrators in a public meeting. We do so respectfully as both a partner and an advocate for the fair compensation of our members. I want to begin by making clear that at every point in this salary negotiation this year, TTEA has been flexible and responsive. We have tried to reach a compromise, we have provided fair proposals, and have taken into account your stated fiscal concerns. We are seeking a fair cost of living increase that allows our salaries to keep pace with inflation. It is reasonable to expect our salaries to keep up with inflation when revenues are increasing as well. By failing to ensure that our salaries keep up with inflation, you are asking teachers and staff to get by with less, even though revenues are up. Step and column increases are not cost of living adjustments. They are agreed upon compensation for experience and expertise. We all agree that we want skilled, experienced teachers in front of our children, and this is the way we retain veteran teachers and incentivize educators for skill building and honing their craft. This year, more than ever before, has shown us the critical role teachers in schools play in our society. Teachers have given so much of themselves this year, adapting to the ever-changing conditions like online learning, as well as providing in-person instruction at personal risk in 2020 and early 2021. It isn't fair to ask us to make even more financial sacrifices. We believe the district can afford to give a fair cost of living increase to the teachers and staff doing the hard work to run schools this year. The district once again has received record revenue, up $7 million in 2 years, a 9.2% increase. Property tax revenue has gone up 10.1% in 2 years. During that time, TTEA has not received an increase to our salary schedule. The district has large reserves, 13.9% of the total budget, that are on the upper end of the board-adopted 10 to 15% range and above the state required 3%, and that grew by $2.65 million this year alone. Mr. Rivera's budget presentation at the last regular board meeting projects that even if property taxes come in optimistically conservative next year as budgeted, the reserve will be 15.6% in 2021 to 2022, above the board-adopted target size. Many other local districts with less revenue or smaller reserves have already agreed to larger raises than TTUSD this year and next. South Lake Tahoe Unified is an example. In similar basic aid districts like TTUSD, attempting to balance for excess tax and ADA enrollment numbers, teachers are earning 7 to 35% more than TTUSD teachers. We are happy to share these comparisons with the members of the board directly as well. At Mr. Rivera's last budget presentation, he walked the board and the public through the effects of a 3% ongoing raise for all staff in the district on the district's finances, both this year and in future years. I would also like to address the board's concerns about deficit spending and future tax projections and their implications for the budget. TTEA respectfully disagrees with TTUSD's current projections for property tax revenue increases next year. Importantly, this is a disagreement about assumptions, priorities, and budget models, and not with people. Mr. Rivera and the Business Services Department do a thorough job year after year, but we disagree with some of the assumptions they have built into their financial models. Specifically, property taxes are currently budgeted to be 3.25% next year. Everyone who lives here has seen what has happened to property values locally. A number of TTA members tonight have shared what kind of negative effects this has had on them personally. A recent Moonshine Inc. article written by Alex Heft and published March 12th, entitled "Home is Where the Lake Is," states nearly $3 billion worth of real estate swapped hands around Truckee, North Tahoe last year, an 87% increase in dollar volume compared to 2019, based on MLS data. Looking back at historical data, after the effects of the Great Recession, property tax has increased by a 4.6% or more every year, with 6 of the 7 years greater than 5%. In fact, it came in as high as 10.4% in 2015-16. This year, 2020 to 2021, it was a 5.2 increase. If property tax revenue materially beats the current 3.25% target next year, the district will not have to deficit spend to fund our fair cost of living increase of 3%. Even if property tax values do come in exactly as projected, the small amount of deficit spending would be expected to go away because of ongoing year-over-year increases to property tax revenues. Any potential deficit would be much smaller than the amount that was added to the reserve this year alone. Think about how it must feel to staff to to know that TTUSD is willing to issue 30-year debt instruments based on potential future developer fees to build buildings, but is unwilling to risk a small amount of potential deficit spending over the next few years to make sure the staff inside those buildings can keep up with increasing cost of living. Finally, our current offer, which was made in an effort to end this negotiation and account for the district's concerns about property tax revenues, is for 2% this year, and additional ongoing increases if property tax revenues beat projections next year. This offer is functionally equivalent to the district's initial 2% offer if property tax comes in as budgeted, because it won't pay above 2% unless property taxes are higher. This is a win-win. If the district gets the money, it can give its teachers and staff a raise, and if it doesn't, the district takes on no risk. Even then, TTUSD would not agree to this offer and conclude the negotiations. We want to compromise and find a solution that values our work and respects the role of the board as stewards of the district's finances overall. The cost of living increase we have advocated for leaves additional monies available for other district priorities, but keeping teacher and staff salaries in pace with inflation has to be one of those budget priorities going forward. We acknowledge that COVID has also been ever present when talking about school finance this year. In fact, TTA agreed to end salary negotiations last year without a cost of living increase because of the uncertainty surrounding what this year was going to look like. We did this to ensure TTUSD had the money it needed to operate schools safely this year. We understand the cost of operating schools safely in the COVID era is higher. However, the district will be fully compensated, bringing in millions of additional dollars for those increased costs, both by the state and the federal government. Finally, I think it's important to point out that TTEA teachers were ahead of the curve when it comes to figuring out school in the COVID era. They have been working harder than any previous year in their careers, trying to make the best of these incredibly difficult times for their students. We created and implemented emergency distance learning over 2 days last spring, when many districts took weeks. We were back to in-person school faster than most other districts in the state. TTA members returned to school every time it was safe to do so, and TTA was never responsible for any delay in opening schools this year. According to the Return to Learn tracker created by the American Enterprise Institute, even as of March 22nd, the most recent data, 40% of schools in California are still fully remote, and only 7% are fully in person. TTA teachers and staff, as well as CSEA staff, have done the incredibly difficult job that has been asked of them this year. As evidenced by this year and the amazing work of the district in years past, we, meaning the board, TTUSD admin, and the staff, both CSEA and TTEA, can do great things for the students and families in Tahoe Truckee when we are able to work at common purpose and support one another in service of the same goal. I am here on behalf of the almost 300 TTEA members, reiterating our desire to work together to continue doing this vital work for our community. As our elected leaders, you aren't sitting at the negotiating table, but I hope after hearing from me and our members tonight, we will soon be able to reach a fair compromise that values our work. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move on to personnel, and this is approving a proposed new job description for technology and information services.
Yes. At this time, what we would like to do is provide the new proposed job description for technology and information services, and with the details, Ms. Sabatini.
Thank you. I'm actually going to ask Mr. Ed Hilton to respond to this, as that's his department.
Sure. Thanks, Jen. Over this last year, I've done an audit of all of our job descriptions in the Technology and Information Services Department, and we just want to make sure that our job descriptions align with the work that our staff is doing. So this brings our staff into alignment that are working with certain pieces of technology and the skills needed for that position.
And if I could just add also, having been on the journey where we started 5 years ago and where we are now with technology, especially, there has been a lot of changes and upgrades. So this is also an opportunity for us to really look at what are the needs of the district and how are we providing that with support.
So I just want to, I asked this in the homework, but just to clarify, this is not a new classified position. This is an existing classified person.
Correct.
And we are attempting to properly reflect their required job duties.
That is correct.
Correct. Thank you. Other questions for Joan or Ed or Superintendent Geisels?
I will make just a comment, no questions, but thank you very much for clarifying, because I had just questions on that, so thank you very much for doing that.
You're welcome.
Public comment on this item?
Check. There's no comment on this item.
Any board comments, or would someone like to make a motion to approve this job description?
I'll make a motion to approve 17.1.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Kim, before we go on, I'd like to, I noticed the TTEA speaker was reading from notes, and since I couldn't hear, or at least understand a large portion of it, could we request a copy of the notes?
Yeah. Did were you able to hear that? So if Galen wasn't always able to hear you, if we could.
Right.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much. So you'll get them. Yes.
Thank you.
We're still struggling with the mask, and some of us, I have a hard time hearing sometimes too, so. Right. No, I know. We'll get there together. So thank you. Thanks, Galen. So next we're going to move on to business services facilities, and this is approved bid package and contractors agreement with Schrader and Brandt for 3 modular classrooms for Tahoe Lake.
Mr. Rivera?
Thank you. So this is the award of a contract for a bid that went out for the relocation of 3 portable classrooms from the Right Out facility to Tahoe Lake Elementary. It will include site work, utility connections, as well as refurbishing those portables to include, paint and new carpet. In addition, it also includes an alternate for modifying and upgrading the lower playground at Tahoe Lake Elementary. So it includes site work as well as new apparatus area. We received 4 bids on this project. Schrader and Brandt was the lowest responsive bidder at $803,000.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you for answering the homework questions that we had on this. Does anyone have any additional questions? Any public comment on this item?
No comment on this item.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we approve the bid package listed in 18.1.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I was looking at Ed to vote. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, next we have 3 new board policies. I did not see questions in the homework on this. So are we all okay with moving this to the consent, these 3 to the consent agenda for the next meeting? Terrific. Okay, so I think if it's okay with the board, we can resume public comment right now and then save the board comments that we usually do till the end, if that's okay. I don't know that we have any further in-person comments, so we will move to the telephonic comments.
One moment, just have to get set up.
No worries, thank you. I just want to recognize all our APs and principals who are still on the screen this evening. Thank you for making us making the time to do the meeting tonight. Even while they're cooking dinner. Hey, I'm all for, double duty. And Logan, of course, who's here in person.
All right. Our next public comment is from Sam Piper.
Hi, my name is Sam Piper. I'm a full-time resident in Truckee. We own a home on Donner Lake. I'm just calling to express my support for the 3% raise for the cost of living adjustment for Truckee School District teachers. I think there's nothing more important in our community than education and teachers being able to live in our community and support the vibrant group of people that we have living here is so important and important for our kids' future. So please, 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 please give them the 3% cost of living adjustment. Thank you so much. Bye.
The next comment is from Renee Collins.
After living in our community for over 25 years, raising children of our own, owning 2 separate homes, struggling with finances, and the ability to work consistently in this town, it has been an interesting time to see how the teaching salaries are so much lower here than they have been in other areas. Moving from Sac City Unified to this area, you know, the difference between even sub-pay has been hugely different, and yet the cost of living has been so much higher here. I find it really discouraging after living here in this community for so long to see how, you know, the cost of homes have risen so much, and the inflation is detrimental to many homeowners as well as just young adults trying to make a living here. For teachers not to have an increase in wage means that we're not keeping up with anyone around us. We're also not keeping up with the cost of living in this town. And what is happening is young adults are being forced to buy housing in Nevada. I feel that that's not fair to them, especially those that have to commute for hours to get to this school district. And I really feel that it would be in the best interest for everyone if we could receive the 3% raise to help cover cost of living, grocery prices, gas prices, rent, and actually encourage teachers to stay here longer, lifetime, versus I can't afford it past a year and now I have to leave and find another school district to teach. I really feel that we've lost teachers because of the cost of living. Our groceries alone are insane, and we put up with a lot of vacationers, a lot of people that are in and out of our town, and yet not to feel that this is an important thing for us to receive is really, really discouraging. I really hope that the district will change their mind and consider the importance of healthy lifestyles for all of us, not just our visitors, not just our millionaires, not just the people that come into our town. We should be treated fairly. And if this district has the finances to do it, then you should step up. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
The next comment is from Kathy Bazio.
Hi. I'm calling because I want to urge you to give the teachers a cost of living adjustment at a minimum. This town is increasingly expensive to live in and impossible to afford for young people making less than $60,000 a year. So they need an adjustment at least, and even more. I just don't understand the reticency on your part to give some of this money that this district brings in to the teachers. Again, thank you for listening to this, and I hope that you readjust your attitudes towards the teachers and giving them an increase in salary. Thank you.
The next comment's from Rachel Falk.
Hello, trustees of the school board, superintendent, chief learning officer Geisels, and the cabinet. I am calling in to implore you to reconsider the TTEA bargaining team's proposal. It is fair and just. We are in agreement to the 2% offered by the district with a tax contingency plan. The contingency plan allows TTEA to assume all the risk and only benefits if the taxes come in higher than district projections, which then makes sure there is no deficit spending by the district, which has been your number one concern. The news this week spoke daily about the increase in grocery costs and gas costs. We do not even know what our health premium costs will be next year. Are they going up? We are all aware of the housing costs, both to buy or rent. We are asking for a COLA to stay afloat, to be able to stay here in a place we all love, in a career we all love, and to educate our students whom we all love. Let us all work together as one unit to move forward in a way that addresses the economic issues we all face by living in a resort area. Let's be on the same team. We appreciate how hard you work to make us the best district we can be. Please appreciate us and all we do to serve our students and families. Thank you.
The next comment is from Peter Hansen.
Hi, my name is Peter Hansen, and I'm calling to voice my support for the current TTEA bargaining offer and ask Superintendent Geisels and the school board to accept the offer. I'm asking this, basing it on the expected property tax increases that we should see this year. The school district can afford the increase in wages. And then also based on the fact that TTUSD teachers are earning 7 to 35% less than other similar basic aid districts. And last, I guess the current offer is equivalent to the school district's offer of 2%. If the property taxes come in, as the school district is projecting, so we're effectively accepting your offer as well, and saying, like, okay, if property taxes are higher, then we deserve more. Last, I'm asking that Superintendent Geisel stop communicating the bargaining updates in the parent email communications. To me, the bargaining is between the school district and the bargaining team. And Superintendent Geisel, if you continue this, like, the communications to the community are one-sided, and I see it as having the potential to polarize the community as people being either for the teachers or against the teachers. And that's definitely not what our community is all about. Thanks for taking my call.
The next comment, I apologize, we couldn't quite get the first name, Amami.
While I fully understand and completely agree with the financial requests of teachers, as well as fully respect the effort they put in during off hours, as well as the incredibly important interest they take in the well-being of their students, it is another side I wish to bring up with my statement. There is an endless number to the types of jobs and fields of work one could choose for themselves. It would be very difficult to quantify how important one field is compared to another. Who is more important, a firefighter or a police officer? Perhaps a doctor or the pharmaceutical chemist who invents a new wonder drug for that doctor to employ in his fight for health? It is a hard question to answer, one with many variables and sides. One thing for sure is that teacher seldom gets the recognition it deserves, and the pay is not in sync with the dedication, knowledge, prestige, or importance the title holds. Far too long, teachers have been undercompensated. They are the first line of contact and tutelage outside of the home for the future of this country. I often hear how the youth is one of our biggest assets. So our reply is to greatly underpay those charged with not only educating our greatest assets, but also helping and assisting them to prepare for their adult lives. We watch educators take on an active role in the development of our children, fueling their natural passion and even assisting some to find the inspiration for the course of their lives. I have created and bought businesses. I have ran multi-million-dollar corporations. I have worn many titles, including Chief Financial Officer, Chief Operating Officer, and Business Owner. However, the title I am most proud to have attached to me is Dad. How is it then that these who take on the closest role to Mom and Dad when Mom and Dad aren't there are begging for a cost of living increase? It is actually as sad as it is wrong. I would guess those that have completed high school look back upon a favorite teacher, someone who has made their life better, took an active role in their happiness, and searched for improving themselves. I know that I do. I make a point out of remembering the salient lessons I learned, as well as the simple day-to-day interaction that fostered such a large part of who I was and who I was to become. It's a good thing, too, because someone who gives so much of themselves to others and the future that is waiting for them, well, they deserve the warm thoughts, the thanks, and the fond memories.
Okay, the next comment is from Julie.
Hi, I'd just like to voice my support for the teachers of the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District. When the school district went to distance learning in November, I listened to a friend who works at Alder Creek Middle School struggle with her job of teaching 8th grade math and science at home, while all 4 of her own children were also trying to do their schoolwork from home. She was honoring the California and Nevada stay-at-home orders by not crossing state lines to come to work. In an effort to help her, I offered up a spare room in my business for her to use as a classroom. I wonder how many board members here have witnessed what teachers do on a daily basis. It was eye-opening for me. My friend showed up to her office/classroom every morning before 7 a.m. every day, even though the students did not join their first Google Meet until 8:15 a.m. Although I could not see her classes or hear what she was teaching, I know that she worked every day until way after 4 p.m., seldom leaving to take a break, even for lunch. I watched her then take her computer home to continue all the work that needed to be done online, such as posting assignments and then correcting those assignments that were also turned in online. My suggestion would be to spend more than a few minutes once or twice a year peeking into the classroom and then doing a quick wave. Spend days, even months like I did, so you can truly understand and appreciate what your teachers do every single day. Please show your teachers the respect they deserve. The 3% pay raise they are asking for is more than fair. Thank you for listening.
The next comment is from Tyler K.
As a former manager, I would like to share my experience from when the parent company who owned my business and was also enjoying record revenue refused my proposed wage increases. Highly skilled employees who had worked with me for years were forced to find work in other fields. Others found second and third jobs, and many had to move away from the community they and their children grew up in. It has become clear that the human elements of these stories do not move you. So all of this is to say that as a result of not offering a living wage and not offering a competitive wage, I was unable to retain my skilled and experienced employees, nor was I able to attract talented candidates to replace those who left. Ultimately, our product and reputation suffered, and therefore revenue declined. I was also unable to accomplish my goals and soon found myself looking for a new job. I see many similarities between my experience and your situation. However, I was working with food, and you are charged with providing the highest quality of education the children of our community can have. Without a minimum 3% or even the proposed 2% plus revenue matching raises, our schools are at a risk of losing the most important element of successful education. In my experience, you can have the best ingredients, nicest equipment, cleanest kitchen, but without the highly skilled cooks, you will not make great dishes. This is the same for you. Studies show the single most impactful element to the learning process is quality and experienced teachers. They affect college graduation rates, advanced degrees, future earnings, emotional stability, teen pregnancy, just to highlight some of the research. In sum, this small raise represents an investment and symbolic support for the future of the children and families in our community. Thank you for your time.
The next comment is from John Falk.
Good evening, trustees. John Falk, speaking just as a member of the public, Truckee resident. I just wanted to emphasize during your deliberations this evening the importance of ensuring that your budget allocations accurately reflect what's truly important and what truly adds value to the school district. Facilities and adding to reserves are all important to a stable district. But the single greatest variable between a great district and a mediocre one is always, and always has been, the quality of instruction provided, the teachers. With our region experiencing unprecedented increases in housing values, and with new housing starts adding every day, more and more revenues are sure to be coming in to the district coffers. As these monies are received, please be sure that your budget and expenditures reflect those facts and that your expenditures demonstrate what you truly value. Thank you.
And the last comment that has come in tonight is from Chrissy Van Winkle.
Hello, good evening, Superintendent, Chief Learning Officer Geisels, and members of the board. My name is Christina Van Winkle, and I'm calling to encourage you to consider our cost of living increase. While it might not seem like very much money to most people, 1% actually for my husband and I, who both work for the district, will end up before taxes about $1,264 combined. That works out to, for me, about $6 a day before taxes. So what we intend to use this money for is to pay for almost 1 month of childcare for our 2-year-old, and perhaps 2 months of our medical care benefits for myself and our children. Thank you so much for considering this, and I look forward to continuing to work for Tahoe Truckee Unified School District until I retire. Thank you.
That concludes public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton. Thank you for everyone who took the time to give us your thoughts. So we'll move on to board comments. Kirsten, anything from you? Chris?
I have nothing to report for this week. Thank you to everyone who called in and came in, and anyone who has chosen to stay in the room. Thank you so much for hanging in there, and I look forward to continuing to serve teachers, students, and families. Thank you.
Yep. So the only thing I'm just going to go down the line here. The only thing I'll report is I haven't been able to go to Truckee High, but I do have a senior, and so I've been doing all the senior stuff, which was weird online and you kind of forgot about, but now it's kind of bubbling up, which is such a positive, at least as a mom. And I think it's positive for Hopi too. So, and the fact that we can have a graduation, OMG, that's so amazing. So I know how hard you've worked on that, and all of our staff have worked towards that. So, yeah, so I'm just experiencing that as a parent right now. It's pretty nice.
I look forward to getting to spend some time in our schools too, because again, we haven't really been able to, and I think I know as a board member, I chose to not jump into the classrooms just so as the teachers could get their feet on the ground and actually see their kids. But I do want to reiterate that that is one of our favorite spots and one of our favorite things to do. We appreciate Logan and John coming in tonight to do their presentation, and I appreciate Greg being the first man to start that off. But again, I think it was just amazing to watch all the kids, just the hustle and bustle, and just listening to all the responses of the kids that I did see. And then I have actually, as you see people in the community they're just overjoyed and elated, and I do think the teachers definitely needed a little bit of time to sort of grasp. I almost want to think that the kids probably are feeling like they're back first day of school or probably spring, either one. So I'm sure it's a handful. But again, I would definitely just remind the teachers and all the staff and principals and everybody that, those kids needed and wanted you. And even if they may not have said they did anything at school when they were at home, just the fact that they have you back there and the schools are back there for them, I think is a huge stepping stone. And I know that just having them appreciate the fact that they are back at school, as somebody said tonight, that many, many places are not back in school. We are very fortunate to be in Tahoe, as much as it does seem like it's a priced out entity. We don't need to pay for counseling for a lot of us, because if you just look around, we are in a great spot. So I really, really encourage everyone, as Kim did say, most of what we want to do is speak kind words and be kind, because you have no idea what it took for that kid to get to school or for what it took for you to get there. So I definitely want to just reiterate that that the kindness does matter, and I think that we all are trying to do the best we possibly can. But if you look at the smiles that you have with those kids, whatever you've done and whatever we have done as a team, I think will take you farther than a test score or anything like that. So I really encourage everyone to stay positive with what we have. We are a really lucky place, and I think all of us have to understand that we are trying to do the best for the longevity. And I think Kim's point to trustee is a tough word. If we had money to give everybody, we would send it out. But again, we're going for longevity. I think all of us want to stay here, and if we can make it work, I think we all are going to dig deep, and I definitely want to throw out the kind words. And that's it. I definitely, when I get back from Vermont, I definitely will show in some of my face back in the classrooms, because again, as we said, we so miss them. I actually just told the nursery school that if they need a sub, I'm ready, which is crazy, but here we go.
This has been a very interesting series of inputs we've had, lobbying to the board members and the staff. If you go back, it was teachers didn't want to go into the classroom. They wanted distance learning, as struggling as that was, and parents wanted students to get back quickly. And now we end up with this one. And so I'm reflecting on it and attempting to understand where everyone is coming from. And I think I did, as far as the parents wanting their students to get back in the classroom. I think we all wanted that, but at the same time, we wanted the teachers to be safe and not be exposed. And we're not out of the woods yet. I conclude that we each have our different perspective, and I endeavored to understand your perspective. So I listened closely. That's why I'd like to read what you said, because I couldn't really understand a lot of it. And in understanding others' perspectives, it's like, gee, Mané, this is do the right thing, we were told. Like we think we're doing the right thing, but others don't. Why are we so bitter towards the teachers? My gosh, I didn't think we were bitter towards the teachers. I had a little different perspective on that. We need to adjust our attitude. Okay, my attitude isn't always the best, but I don't think generally we have an attitude. So I'll tell you a little bit about my perspective. It has to do with giving the teachers all employees all that we can. The question here is, how much can we? And I have a mathematical background, so I pay attention to Todd when he's showing us the budget and where money goes, and my gosh, things are complicated. I mean, you can take the top level numbers, which has been done, and say, oh, the revenue went up by this much, but I don't hear the explanation of where it went from those same people. a lot of that money was designated to be spent on a certain thing when we got it. And so it's not like money that can be allocated to raises. You looked at, for those, some of you have, and I appreciate that, I understood that. People understood that Todd showed at the last board meeting that even a 2% raise ate into our reserve somewhat, some deficit spending next year, based on the assumptions of property tax revenue increase, as well as the federal government, who knows what's going to happen there, and the state budget. But as a trustee, I have to go on the best information we have. And so we look at what we expect to happen. And, you know, the future is unpredictable. We got an unpredictable fact dropped on us last week that Todd mentioned, the unemployment. Gee, that's 1%. You know, that means we're going to suffer the same next year as if we had agreed to a 3% increase. It's going to be down considerably, heavy deficit spending. So I just ask if you would spend a little effort to try to understand our perspective as well, as we try to do the best we can for our employees. Thank you.
Thanks, you all. Have a great rest of your evening, and we will reconvene on April 21st. Thank you.